Hello everyone, we are back to learning Python together. So today we'll be focusing on Python installation. You need to install Python on your computer most of the time before you can write Python code from your laptop, except if you are connecting to a platform like Google Colab. But we're not talking about Google Colab today. We want to look at a situation where you install Python on your computer and then you begin to write code from your own computer. So let me quickly go to Google and show you what I have done. So this is Google. I have typed, sorry, this is Bing, for instance. I've typed Python download and it brought this screen out for me. I selected this option. I was able to get in here. When I got here, this is not the default view that you see. For someone using Windows, this is my view. For some other people, they may not see this entirely. So what I did was to click on download and I selected Python download. It should download the file for you. I already have it somewhere. I do not need to go through that process again. Once the download is completed, while your browser is still open, you can easily click on Python 3.12.5 and then it will open the installer. When the installer comes up, you need to be mindful of what you do. The first thing I tell users to do is to click on this checkbox here, add python.exe to path. This allows you to invoke Python from virtually every directory that you find yourself within the command prompt. Then the next thing is I'll click on this first installation option and then Python goes through the installation process. It should take just less than 2 minutes before the installation is complete, and then we will check if everything works well. So let's give it a second and then I come back to you. All right, Python was set up successfully. Bravo, we're lucky. So how do we confirm that that is indeed true? I need to check by going to my search box here. I'll type Python and then it's going to give me quite a number of things. Of course, I've installed all sorts of programs on my computer, but what we need at this point is the this particular item, IDLE for Python 3.11. This is the standard environment in which Python is meant to be executed. So when I get in here, I want to confirm that Python is truly running. Of course, I can confirm by just seeing this, but if you just come in here and you say, let me say 2 plus 2, I expect it to tell me 4. Yeah, that's good. 2 times, this is 2 raised to power 3. I expect it to tell me 8. Yeah, good. But when you look at this screen, you realize that, okay, fine, it's doing what it should do, but this is a boring screen, quote and unquote. You will need something more alluring to write your code. I can start saying, okay, I want num1 to be 2, I want num2 to be 4, then I want num3 to be num1 divided by num2. Yeah, it does that. Then I want to see what's in num3. Print it out for me. And then it tells me, okay, 2 over 4 is 0.5. Yes, but this is a little bit boring. So we need what is called an IDE, an integrated development environment. There are many of them, just like I said. So if you need one, one of the best ones out there is VSCode or Visual Studio Code from Microsoft. It's free. You do not need to pay anything to get it. So search for VS Code installation on whichever browser you are using. It's going to bring you to this screen, and then depending on whichever operating system you run on, you pick what suits you. So in my own case, I'm running on Windows. I already downloaded VS Code, and if I try to download again, it will just tell me, hey Brian, you already have that, so why are you re-downloading? So I'm going to cancel the installation or the download, and I'll click what I had before, which is this VS Code. So when I click on that link, it starts installing VS Code on my machine. I'm using two screens, so I brought the dialog box out here. We often don't read whatever is written on this, end user service level agreement here. We simply just say accept. If you don't accept, you can't move beyond this point. But for sake of curiosity, you can read through all the terms in here, guiding the use and non-use of the product. So I click on accept, and then I can move on. I will simply accept the default installation, suggestions. And when I get here, I say I need a desktop icon, move on, install, and then it's preparing to install VS Code on my computer. That should also take, a minute or two, and then I'll show us how we can open VS Code, and we do one more customization within it, and then VS Code will be ready for us to, start writing our codes. And the rest of our training from this point onward will be discussing programming concepts and then implementing them within the VS Code environment. Oh, beautiful. So VS Code is already installed, and it's asking me here, do you want to launch Visual Studio Code? If you uncheck, it won't launch it, but I want it to be launched, so I click on that and say finish. And while still staying on this screen, Visual Studio Code comes out. This is the way it comes out. So when it gets to this point, there are a few customizations that you still need to do. One of which will be the theme that you want to have. Do you want your programming environment to come out in this dark modern format, or you want it to be like this, or you want it dark contrast or light high contrast? Most times people just feel comfortable with this default option. That's the theme. If you have some other things that you have installed on your computer, you may want to integrate them with your VS Code. I don't want to go through that. Let me just go to mark as done. Then I'm good. I said there is one or two more customization that I need to do. I'll go through that easily. When you're on this interface, what you need here will be, I've maximized my screen. What you need to do here is to go click on this icon for extensions, and then of course it's loading quite a number of popular extensions. What I need there is Python, this first one. I'll click on install. This allows me to be able to write Python scripts within VS Code, and VS Code will be able to interpret all of the syntaxes. And while that is installing, I wait for it a little bit to finish. There is one more thing that I need to install. It is called Code Runner, which enables us to run our code easily within Visual Studio Code. So we give installation a few seconds. I can actually install them side by side. Code Runner, CODE, and then RUNNER. Yeah, this one. Okay, so I'm not installing R. That's not what I need. So let's check. Code Runner, I hope it is installed. Okay, it's installing, and then once it is finished, I'll say it. Yeah, it's completely installed now. Let's check our Python if it's done. Yeah, it also appears done. So congratulations, you've set up Python on your laptop. The rest of the task here will be for you to start writing code. So let's check if we can indeed write a basic Python code and execute it. So let me open a project folder. I do not have any at the moment, so I can go to my desktop and say let's create a new folder and call it VSCode examples. Okay, I'll choose that folder, and then I trust the authors. Yes, I trust the authors. So for me to write the first line or the first file, to create a new file, I'll say give me a new file, call it first code.py.